Nigeria Federal Executive Council rose from its meeting at the State House and has approved a new policy framework that it calls the Renewed Hope Nigeria First policy. It serves as a major government decision aimed at strengthening Nigeria's domestic economy and promoting local content. Now, while briefing the media on the outcome of the meeting presided over by President Bola Tinubu, the Information and National Orientation Minister, Mohammed Idris, said, among other things, that the Bureau of Public Procurement is to revise and enforce procurement rules that prioritize Nigerian-made goods and homegrown solutions across all ministries, departments, and agencies. That's just a snippet of that new reform. Now, the policy is expected to take effect as soon as the executive order is signed by President Tinubu. On the energy side of things, the Africa Export-Import Bank, the Afrexim Bank, is set to be funding or planning to funding the African Energy Bank, this proposed energy bank, to the tune of about $19 billion to increase the availability of financing for oil and gas companies on the continent. This is according to the Minister of State for Petroleum Oil in Nigeria, Senator Heineken Lokpobore, who disclosed this while declaring open the Nigerian pavilion at the ongoing Offshore Technology Conference in Houston, Texas. All right, business analyst Chika Mbonu joins us to discuss further. Good morning to you, sir. Thanks for joining us.
How are you today?
Good to see you, sir. Good to see you. Where would you like to begin?
Let's talk about Nigeria, the local content policy.
Yes, the local content, the reform policy. Yes. What do you make of it? Put Nigeria first.
No. Yeah, put Nigeria first. I mean, okay. Let's give the administration the accolades.
Yeah.
We thank them for this initiative, for putting out this policy. It's commendable. But that's why it starts for me.
Yeah.
Because, Rutus, do you recall the battle, how we battled in this program at the beginning of the year, during budget and last year? I will say that a nation, Nigeria, that is funding its budget through deficit, borrowing to finance its budget.
Yeah.
And then we're not doing, made in Nigeria, focusing on made in Nigeria. We even said that, every federal expenditure there should be spent on Nigeria first.
Right.
So at least we're borrowing before we can start talking about that.
Right.
Remember when we battled with the National Assembly on the issue of importing Toyota cars,
right? You said
trucks for them.
Yes.
Instead of patronizing Nigerian medicine and some, sorry, if I say that, because of this cyber thing, that somebody might come and arrest me, and we'll call them the name I wanted to call them. Somebody went on air, a senator went on air and said that, they travel through rough roads or something like that, and the car, they need sturdy, tough cars, and the cars they make in Nigeria are not strong. And so that's how they spent billions of naira on imported cars. So, they say sometimes common sense is not common.
Right.
Rotus, do we need the federal government, present executive order before we do these things that we know that will create employment for our country? We know that will return money into our country. We know that will make our industry stronger because as we patronize them, they will buy more equipment and so on and so forth. That will create more independence for our country, give our national sovereignty. We know this is Rotus now.
Yeah.
So do you need a president's executive order before it is done? Do you need the Federal Executive Council to do this before? I mean, we know these things. So, again, as I told you, our problem is not planning.
It is the execution.
It's the execution. The willingness execution.
Yeah.
Now, look at the document they brought out. There's a caveat. Unless they bring a waiver. Watch out at the BBB. The
waivers will be coming in.
The waivers will be flying every day. People will be writing memo. Now this, like that senator said,
the road is bad.
The road is bad.
The
road is wrong car. We will buy from Innocent. The thing won't be strong enough. This one will happen. That's what you're going to see.
Yeah.
But I mean, let me not just be so negative.
Right.
It's commendable initiatives. We have been asking for this. And I believe that the president of our country, let him have the political power to push this through. As I say in Nigeria, our problem is not the plans.
Right.
I have a feeling that this has been there since. But we even thought that President Buhari, who was more insular,
right,
could have done things like that for over the 8 years. But he couldn't. That was even when Nigeria borrowed to the roof. And we are borrowing, funding a budget deficit, and still we didn't patronize, we didn't just made in Nigeria. And so, sometimes it just, but I mean, let's not be too negative.
We'll revisit this matter in a few months or a year and see.
Let the waivers be really exceptional, not the norm.
Right.
Let the MDS not find ways now, to just everybody's doing waiver. We want to buy from China, want to buy from Afghanistan, want to buy from Pakistan, just to make sure that things continue to happen the way they happen.
Yeah.
Because the country requires to protect, put this money, return this money in their country, improve the skills of the manufacturing companies in Nigeria, return the money, create employment for our citizens of our country. Very good initiative. But as usual, implementation is the key.
Thanks for that. What's your thoughts on this energy bank?
Oh, yeah. A very good initiative. Remember, we talked about this again several times in the program here. Bigger picture is that if you listen to the general meetings of a lot of the Western banks, they used to force the executives now to put a proviso that they are going to stop funding fossil energy projects.
Yeah.
And increasingly, some of them have put deadlines that after this year, they won't do that again. And you still understand that Africa, as we are, a lot of our energy base is based on fossil energy, elements. And so the financing cannot come from the West. And so we need to help ourselves.
Yeah.
And so this initiative is commendable. African petroleum producers combining with African Exim banks, setting up that. And so Nigeria, again, thank God that we're going to host it. And so this is the initiative.
Yeah.
Basically, it will help in the African, we don't understand African language, the African projects, the African risks, we understand them better, for an African bank, just the way African Bank and
African
ADB,
Development Bank,
Bank have been helping. And no wonder that I think African banks say they have about 15 billion, I think 14 billion portfolio loans already, and then they're going to transfer to this new bank. So this is commendable. I'm hoping that it works and that. But we'll have to look also down at the issue, maybe challenges they may face down the line, which include things like the sovereign risks, the issue that when we start having French African countries and the English African countries and mixing sometimes the issues of culture. And then the policies may be different. And then, of course, not every African country is very strong. So there are issues of credit risk for a lot of African countries also. So those may impact the quality of the bank. And then the funding of the bank also. If it's going to be Africa only, it may be difficult to raise the amount of capital required.
So more capital is needed.
More capital needed. So the bank must be prepared in such a way that you can go out internationally and be able to raise money.
Fantastic stuff. All right, Business Analyst Chika. Are we doing aviation tomorrow?
Let's do that.
Thank you so much for joining. I also appreciate you.